is it that we have consciousness and nothing else does? Those are my main issues with evolution, or macroevolution.
So the consciousness part, that's going to refer to like what it emerges from. I think, I mean, even like if you were to say, like I've heard many arguments, like the argument from reason, when it's like saying that how can reason come from non-reason? How could consciousness come from non-consciousness?
Exactly.
The thing is, like, in terms of like, if we were to put that in analogical terms and logic, it'd be like asking, how can walls come from non-walls? How can infants come from non-infants? How can a bed come from a non-bed? Like the thing about
I disagree.
the thing is that's really like a nonsensical question to ask, because if consciousness begins to exist within the physical world, at least our consciousness, right? And it can emerge, where do you think it's going to emerge from if it's within the physical world? The only evidence that points to where it can emerge from, it would have to be from physical things. We haven't, at least up to now, like, again, it's all provisional. But at least up to now, there hasn't been an account for something beginning to exist, but from immaterial means, like something that's contingent, but that it's also immaterial. That hasn't been accounted for. So the best evidence shows is that consciousness emerges from the physical brain. So consciousness is basically our perceptual experience that's derived from the inner workings of the physical organ that we call the brain. So consciousness, in order to be conscious, you need to be conscious of something. You can't be conscious of nothing. That's a contradiction in terms. So matter would be like the reference point of consciousness. It's what we are conscious of. But the reference point is also the foundation for the thing, right? So the thing, it doesn't exist within itself, right? The thing is conscious of its foundation, and that would be matter. Until there's evidence otherwise, right? That the immateriality of consciousness comes from something immaterial. I'm not ruling it out, but there's no good evidence for it.
Right.
But for the alternative, there is good evidence for.
Which is?
Which is that consciousness emerges from the physical brain.
I see. Give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to go to the toilet, and I'll be back. It's an interesting convo.
Yeah, this is way better than yesterday, for sure. Hey, Franks, you there?
I'm here now.
How's the convo?
Pretty good. I like it so far. I've been in and out, but I'm recording it, so.
You gotta send me a debate with T-Jump so I could wreck him.
That sounds great. I tried setting that up already, but you know how T-Jump is, so.
You think he's scared because he declined?
He's probably not scared. I don't know. T-Jump is just like whatever about things, so I try not to impose on him.
T-Jump is fine as long as you pay him.
I try not to impose on his bull too much, Darth.
If you do that, he's gonna demod you.
Yeah, he will.
Hello, Vishwoom 2. How are you?
Hello.
Are you an atheist? A theist?
I'm actually a theist. I was
Theist. Yes. You have an echo, so if you can fix that, that would be great. There's if you go to the settings bar to the right of your screen, there's a thing called noise suppression, and that clears out the background noise that's like ricocheting from that echo.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, Franks, I thought of contacting either Matt Slick or one of the pre-suppers in PNR.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You heard me, Frank?
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, gotta get Face of Yah or J. Robin.
Face of Yah, yes. That dude is so annoying.
I think he's pretty nice from first impression.
Face of Yah is not a bad person. My main issue with Face of Yah is that he is a pre-supper to the max. Like he will actually. How do you know? Like like he'll just keep asking
Oh,
you. How do you know?
I can do that, but with him, I can say like how does he know that get ordained him with reliable sense perception? Well, he's
Right.
going to say the Bible. Now, how does he know the Bible is true? Oh, because the Bible says that the Bible is true. And how does he know that the Bible says the Bible is true? Oh, because I sensed it, right? Well, then how do you know your sense perception is reliable? Oh, because it says in the Bible. You see, like
Right.
if it you can make it, you could do that tactic, and he's going to go full circle. But the atheists that challenge him, since they aren't like very good at like they aren't well prepared for this kind of stuff, they make the mistake of letting the precept so-called drive. They let the precept take the wheel and dominate the whole conversation. So the precept just like gives the atheist like an entire monologue of interrogation, right? But the atheist never, does the Uno reverse card onto them. They don't do the but if you do the interrogation onto them, like it's easy that they're going to engage in circular reasoning and crap their pants. It's just inescapable. Just keep saying, "How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you?" Until they get annoyed. So I don't know. Precept is a lot of fun, actually. The dunking on these guys is a lot of fun.
I'd rather just not even get into a debate with a pre-supper anymore. I've had my own experiences, honestly. But it's good conversation, I guess, if you wanted to make an interesting video or something. So
Yeah.
definitely try to get Face of Yon here, though.
This well, at least we have less people today, but this is better. This was a better conversation than yesterday.
Yeah, with Icy and King Xerxes. I actually just sent Icy a message right now because I wanted to talk to her about different different moral. I'm sorry, can you hear me? Different moral systems. So I wanted to get
Yeah,
her take on it.
she's a moral naturalist,
Right. Yeah.
which I guess is similar to Xerxes, but it's also different insofar as like Xerxes just calls this shit objective when it's not. He just has like objective statements about what is or doesn't conform to his subjective criteria for morality. But that's it. Like it's the whole Sam Harris thing.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Like I could just say it's moral to eat hamburgers, and it's immoral to not eat hamburgers. So we can objectively determine under my system that whenever someone eats a hamburger, they're acting morally, according to my definitions. And when they don't eat a hamburger, they're acting immorally. You see how dumb that is?
Yeah.
like just because you make objective determinations within a subjective framework doesn't mean that the framework itself is objective and it's like an objective system of morality. It's really dumb.
What if everyone was to agree on a specific like a moral make I don't know how to explain it. Maybe like
That everyone agreed on some categorical value.
right. What do you think about that?
But that's still preferential, even if everyone agrees with it. You're just saying like the overwhelming majority of people agree with this value, and then there could be objective determinations made off of what people value, but what people value is going to be dependent upon those preferences. Like it could be 1,000 other different alternatives, and the claims are going to shift because the values have changed. So what? That's still not objective.
Right. Yeah, that much I can agree with.
Hello, free Palestine.
Yo, so can you guys hear me?
No, I can't. No, I can't.
Salam alaikum.
Yeah. Oh shit. What does that mean?
Isn't that hello or something? Or maybe your mom, or I'm sorry, Casimir knows.
It's the
what's the debate thing about? What does that mean?
It's the Tim Horton guy from earlier who was interrupting. That same dickhead.
Yeah, it's me.
All right, get him out of here.
Well, yeah, what were you guys talking about? Sorry.
Well, Frank and I were talking about how bad Xerxes' morality is. we were dunking on that for a bit, and then Free Palestine came in.
Yeah, like, can you explain what that is?
Morality?
No. The debate thing, like the name of the channel.
Theist Helpline.
Where do you see that? Nah, the debate topic.
Creationism versus evolution?
Yeah, what is it?
Creationism versus evolution.
I didn't know you changed
we changed it because like we were specifically talking about like evolution versus creationism. Evolution is going to refer to the origin of species and how they mutated over time within the physical world, and creationism is you could say quote unquote hypothesis that some all-powerful deity created the universe.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't have to be God, right?
No, because Kashmir is taking the position that it's God and it's exactly his God, right? So no, it for the purposes of this debate, it's specifically Islamic God.
Oh, okay. So it's either that. Okay.
I mean, Darth, the flip side, I guess, to your theory having somewhat more cogency is...
Yeah, quick question. Is my mic good or not? Like the quality?
I hear you fine.
It's good? All right, thanks.
Yeah, the cogency, I guess. It's not that we believe because based on what logically might be a higher possibility. Because you've got to remember, for the majority of humanity, nobody knew about science. They knew, but the average person wasn't literate. They didn't know about any of these things. It's the benefit we reap from practicing a religion that was so old. It's before even books were prevalent. Only when modern day Kazakhstan was taken, Bukhara, only then was paper mass production, I think. And so books were prevalent. It became prevalent. But it just, look, for me and for most Muslims I know, it just doesn't seem plausible or possible that a book from before, when books were, common, can give you such a complete and cogent and comprehensive guide to your life, a guide to the nature of man, how to have a successful individual life, a business life, a society, a country. All of these things is what Islam gives you. And it's not just that there's like a system, and because it's got a system, that's why we follow. It's more of an intuitive thing. When you practice it, the benefits you reap are not something that can be replaced by anything worldly or of this world. It's that in conjunction with everything else is what makes it so compelling. That makes sense.
Okay, so but the cogency is just going to like bolster the probability of your position.
Right, for sure.
Right.
That's a secondary thing.
Right, but when we're comparing creationism versus evolution, and we're talking about like what makes it so that we know what's more probable or not, would you agree to at least some degree that if we use science, and it is the case that over time we find more specialized mutations in the genome, right? And it is at a macro level.
Yeah.
Do you think that your worldview is going to be impacted from that? At least if it's provisional.
No, because
okay,
two reasons. One, there is actually a sect in Islam that believes that man was created, there's a difference of opinion as to whether man was created complex or whether he was like created as a cell and then evolved. Two, I mean, what was the second part of your thing? Sorry, I forgot.
Like, do you think, and you would probably say no, but I know a lot of Muslims, they draw the dichotomy between creationism and evolution.
I remember.
Right. So even if we establish that there's a provisional fact, that shows that there's good evidence for macro evolution, do you think, right, to use your terms, do you think that's going to impact what the Quran has to say about the complexity of life and how we came to be? That
it's a very good question. And I'm glad you made reference to the Quran, because this has been the case before. See, I don't want to get, it seems though it's dogmatic and you're just going to, like me, meaning me, we're just going to ignore anything that science has to say in favor of our book. That's not necessarily the case, because for most of human history, since obviously Islam's inception, the book contradicted science. It said that all life came from water, whereas this was revealed to people living in the desert, and so it would just be nonsensical to them. The universe forever expanding, the stages, the fact that the Earth is not the center of the universe, that the Earth is round and it's in orbit. All the planets and celestial bodies are in orbit. This is only a thing discovered recently, even down to embryology. But previous to the electron microscope, it was against the scientific facts in the Quran were against mainstream science. So by virtue of this, it's only now that we have the technology can we actually verify that it's true. But by virtue of this, because it's provisional, like you said, because the nature of science is provisional, it doesn't impact the worldviews to the point that you're going to say, oh no, I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It just means that, like,
it's not completely falsified. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Okay, cool. Because like a lot of theists would hold like there is a distinction to be made, like a dichotomy to be made between these two things, and like especially I would say in Christianity, there's a lot of things in the Bible which indicate, especially the Old Testament and Genesis, that conflict with evolution.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So I was just wondering that do you think if we proved this fact right, do you think that your worldview would have been more compatible if that's the case with this fact of reality than Christianity? Like the fact of let's say we prove quote unquote macroevolution is true.
When compared to Christianity, for sure, it would be more. I think it would always be more cogent. That's not to bash Christianity, because look, the Islamic stance is that the Christians and the Jews are our brethren. They're referred to as Ahl al-Kitab. It means people of the book. So they're always spoken of, well, for the most part, spoken of with reverence or respect. The good ones, though, there is obviously a distinction with the bad Christians, the bad Jews, and also the bad Muslims. Like in Islam, the good Christians and good Jews also go to heaven, not just the good Muslims. But having said that, I think the modern Christianity is so far from what it was originally. The biggest sin in all the Abrahamic faiths is making partners with God. And that's essentially what modern day Christianity has become, making partners with God, saying that God has a son, etc. With regards to like specifically macroevolution, I mean, the genealogy of the Bible is like, if you add up all the things, it equates to something like 5,000 years. And because we know for a fact humans existed before then, it completely it nullifies it in that regard. And there's not really so much. See, the thing is, there's not really so much resting on whether life was simple or life was created complex. And so I don't think it would have like a meaningful impact in terms of my worldview. Me personally, I think life was created complex. So it would affect my worldview to that degree, but it wouldn't sway me from Islam or anything like this.
But what if you found so complex in terms of the structure of the objects which you observe? Yeah.
Complex as in a man was created, not just an amoeba in the ocean. Like, okay. Actually, man was the first thing.
Okay, so man was the first thing. That's the starting point. Okay, so so are you saying the when that was instantiated, right? Like man was created first, and then everything else. Yeah. Is it?
To be honest, I think I'm not sure 100%. It could be that animals were made first, but when I say man was first, I mean God didn't make a cell and then that evolved into a man. I'm saying when he placed us on the earth, we were there as a whole man, not like a single cell organism. But sorry, carry on.
So yeah, you're saying like a fully formed man, like we are now. Yeah. Okay. But
I mean, also there's some parts of Islam that says like that when the first humans were created, they were like giant compared to us, and their lifespan was different and stuff. So it could be that there's room within the Islamic paradigm that we could have had humans that look totally different to us now, or something like this. But it's just one of those. Nobody would ever know. So it's silly to. It would just be pure conjecture if that to say one way or the other. But yeah.
I think a lot of people want to say one way or the other because they put like everything that exists within the physical world that's contingent upon something necessary. So once you put that necessary thing within some sort of category, it is either the case or not the case.
True.
But like, here's the thing. Like, your foundations for epistemology don't have to be that way. You, like, for example, you could hold that things incline to be more probable to others in terms like whether it's repeatable, testable, measurable, etc. And there's good evidence for one side, but not good evidence for the other side. So you're inclined to believe that which has good evidence.
Yeah.
That to me, that approach is preferable, like epistemically speaking, than just saying, like, this accounts for everything, right?
Right.
No questions asked, but it's my type of necessary thing which accounts for everything, not your type of necessary thing. Like I was explaining earlier about the deistic God, like how it could be necessary, but it doesn't have the properties that the other gods has. That is kind of the problem when you think in these like black and white, like it's either my God exists or no God exists. That to me is like a very bad approach, epistemology.
I mean, from the outside looking in, I can see how that appears like dogmatic, but the reason why I have that position is not, the thing is, I didn't start with that position. I started with hyperskepticism. Like I was born a Muslim, but I never used to practice my religion. And there was always a point where, I mean, I probably told you this before, but there was always a point where I'd reach a certain chain in the thought tree, and then I'd be like, okay, I have to switch off my brain at this point because I don't have the relevant info to take it further. And I would take this on.
I'm gonna go to bed, alright? Peace. Have a good one, you guys. Nice talking.
Thanks for that information. Fucking this guy's retarded. But so yeah, look, I was born a Muslim, but I never used to practice my religion. So yeah, there was a point I'd have to switch off my brain and just take it on faith. God exists. But like, I guess in my early 20s, I was able to articulate, and it was articulated to me why it makes logical sense for a God to exist. I always used to think, well, what if God doesn't exist? Am I just wasting my time? But as soon as it was made logically clear, like what convinced me was that it's logical that in light of the chain of infinite regression, it's logical for a uncreated creator to be necessary in order for all contingencies to exist. And so once every question that I had, like every question about the life, God, religion, everything got answered. So like always I was encouraged to ask questions. In the Quran, God implores you to question everything. And so once all my questions were answered, then I arrived, oh, hang on, this must be the truth. Whether I like it or not, regardless of what actions I take, this is the truth. And then at that point, and then when you start to practice it and see the benefits it has in your life, to your mental state, your physical state, relationships, everything, then because it's so overwhelmingly clear to me, I'm left with no choice but to say, well, look, this is my truth, whether I like it or not. So that's how I arrived at evolution wouldn't really mean shit for me. It's a ground up approach, if that makes sense. Similar to your epistemological approach about the hedron thing.
Amplituhedron. Well, yeah, but like when I say the amplituhedron, I'm just saying like that could be a possible alternative to your first cause. Like it's just think about it like this.
No, I mean the bottom up aspect of it.
Oh, so I got that part. Yeah. Like we don't start with an ultimacy and just presuppose that grounds everything that's possible or impossible. We start by observing what is possible and what isn't impossible, and then we infer and induce from that where that leads to. What reference point does that lead to? And yes, I would agree that even as an atheist, I would say yes, there can't be an infinite regress of contingent finite causes, things like that. Okay, but we have this thing called the first cause, but it probably doesn't have the properties that your God has, right?
Right.
And when I mentioned the thing about time and space, we have this mechanism that can describe things that exist in physical reality, like how we locate one type of matter, right, to another and to another, and continuously. So we can account for that. It's just we start by inferring things first in the natural world, and then we induce from that what is the first cause. So we can account for these things.
Induce or deduce?
No, induce, because induction is going to be based off of how you predict something. Like you notice a pattern, right? Like 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. What do you think the next numbers are going to be? Probably.
Isn't that deduction?
1, 3. No, that's induction. Deduction is logical. Deduction is like anything that is X is Y. B is X, therefore B is Y. That's deduction.
Okay.
So, yeah, deductive logic is like it breaks down from like one category of a thing to one thing, right, which is B, and then you say from that we can deduce that B is Y. That's deductive. Inductive works more like a pattern, right? So you have 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. What do you think the next numbers are probably going to be?
Right,
1, 3. Yeah, so I use induction more when describing, like when defending my worldview. But you could also take a deductive approach and say, hey, maybe we could do like an internal critique of some worldview that might contain a contradiction and use deductive logic from that, like a reductio ad absurdum. Like,
right.
You start with some premises. This premise contradicts this premise, but this worldview holds that these both premises are true. Therefore, this worldview has a contradiction. That would be deductive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I've never.
Can I? Yeah, I just wanted to say that how I learned it in psych class was deductive is going from the general to the specific, and inductive is going from the specific to the general. So I hope that helped. If you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've never studied like philosophy or logic or anything like this. Honestly, it pisses me off. Like these people come like, oh, fucking 2x must be x and blah blah. Not you, obviously, Irenaeus, but just people. So like they put this Greek shit on such a pedestal. It's fucking annoying. Like as if it's the be all and end all of how to be a
Luca.
philosopher. Yeah, him as well. But loads of people do it. It's so fucking pretentious.
I think a good person to bring up during all this is Graham Priest.
Who's that?
Like the famous philosopher who denies the law of non-contradiction.
Oh, interesting.
So he holds to pair consistent logic / intuitionist logic, and that's like a form of logic where I think it's the law of excluded middle is denied and the law of non-contradiction is denied. And this guy is such a Chad because like all these precepts, they talk about like, oh, the law of non-contradiction, and then this Chad comes up and says, law of non-contradiction, my ass. Like you can, there might be states of affairs where they are contradictory, and I think dialetheism, like a lot of people think it's dumb, But I think that you can even use it to like solve a paradox, like Russell's paradox. Like, let's say you have a barber in a village, and the barber is like supposed to shave everyone who's not himself. Well, then the question asks, who shaves the barber? If you define the barber that way,
What's the answer?
well, that Russell holds like the barber can shave himself, but he could do that. But then, by definition, he's not a barber, since a barber is defined as someone who shaves other people's heads. You see, so he's just saying, like, you can define things in whichever way you want, right? But if it is the case, like you hold this definition, then that leads to a problem. That's what he's saying.
I see.
So that's going to be dependent on logic. Okay, guys, I'm going to go join Jen. You can meet me there. I'm going to close the stage. This was